Hello, my boos and boos. It's me, Demise, formerly known as Denise, your Afro Queen of Horror. Coming at you, coming back at you, starting it up again after a slight pause. First, let me introduce my co host, Unionita, formerly Unionita, now Princess of Terror. Oh, it is a terrible. It's a terrible shame if you don't have that card signed. Get a card signed, FAs, and let's get the union party started. Thank you, Princess of Terror. It is quite frightening to not have that in your job. Let's kill the music for a little bit. That's a good thing of a cell phone. Always at hand to do what I need to have done. Well, as I said, back at you, trying to get this horror thing going. Took a small hiatus. I mean, many of you who know me know that back in 2015, my mother transitioned, and it took the toll that it took, as it always does. While December, my dad followed along, so I had to deal with that for a while, and yes, it is the path we all will take. Eventually. Anyway, I just want to give them love and praise because they made me who I am today. I don't think they intended to make me a crazed horror fiend, but it is what it is. Anyway, um, with that, of course, we give a shout out to the ancestors who went ahead of us, those who paved the way for so much of what we have. You know, y'all, a lot of you are young, don't remember some of the things I remember. It's changing, but we still got a long way to go. And you guys have to carry the torch. Anyway, have a little list of things I wanted to talk about so I didn't ramble on at you. And I believe that was part of it. Most of yeah. Well, okay, I got a few more things on my list. Gonna acknowledge birthdays. Yesterday was the birthday of one of my best friends, Pam. Happy birthday. As well as one of my friends who has also walked that path, Ted. Happy birthday. Um, March birthdays. Biggest one for me is my oldest nephew. Notice I'm not giving out anybody's age because I ain't telling you my age either. How about that? So happy birthday, Jamal. Hope it's going to be a great one. Hope you make it a great one. That being all said and done, I wanted to talk about what I'm going to predominantly, hopefully, talk about in the coming sessions and videos and things like that. Many of you know I do write horror. I call myself a horror writer. I am a published horror writer. I have a short story in an online publication called the Horror Zine, Zine. So that was kind of cool. I do have another one. Oh, the name of that one is Stories from the Graveyard or the Graveyard. I can't remember. I'm old. I do have another one in a kind of an old collection. This came out years ago, but that one was called A Thing Called Evil. Yeah, that was weird. It was a family crazy issue. Um, Writing. I did write and have actually got it published by a newer company, which we'll talk about later in later videos. I don't want to talk bad, but it was good and it was bad. It was a learning experience. But this was the finished product from that. In the footsteps of a killer. Be nice if I could not hold it upside down. One take, baby. One take. I'm not doing this again. In the footsteps of a killer is about a young chocolate sister who gets mentally connected to a saltine serial killer. Y'all take the references. As she grows, she sees his murders in her head and in her dreams, and the two of them are just they're connected, and it's not pretty for her. Anyway, as she grows up, she finally decides that she's had enough, and she's going to figure out a way to get this dead criminal out of her mind and out of the real world because now he's back and he's killing again. In the footsteps of a killer, um, I will put the link on the end of the at the end of the video. It's well, I'll say it now. It's Denise at PayPal.com. Pretty simple. Denise J. Bryson, PayPal. It was $15 originally, dropped it to 10. Well, now it's going to be about 5 because along the way I discovered some not good things about the book that weren't my fault. And well, they kind of were because I proofread it and through my excitement of getting published for the first time, I suppose, I overlooked and missed some issues. So for $5, you can have a book and say, hey, I got a flawed book from that Hollywood sensation, Demise. That'll be later, years later. Not years, but soon later. Anyway, that being said, part of what I wanted to do is also talk about horror films, particularly black horror films, um, books, particularly mine. Yeah. But others, because there are others before me, of course. You give homage, pass it on, pay it forward. And what else did I have written down? Wait. Talk about things coming up. Things coming up. Well, in the course of writing, and I've been writing for a long, long, long time, you learn things. You learn what you don't know, you learn what you do know. I've been working on myself, my skills. I'm signing up to take a class this March, 2026. This is 2026, where I can get down to learning some of the basics that I didn't don't have because I never took writing. I was an artiste. I was going to draw and paint. I was going to go to Paris and do that. Well, I've been to Paris. That's a different story. As Denise, I fly for a living, flight attendant. So I've been to Paris. Haven't made a painting there yet. Gotta see about doing that sometime soon. And the Princess of Terror has been with me on some of the trips. One of the things we're gonna probably do, she and I, if I can get up the nerve to do this in public, with people walking around me looking at me, why is she playing with a doll? Isn't she a little old? Yeah, I'm a little old, but I'm a lot young. And I plan to be that way forever. Mummification. Anyway, um, so we're gonna do some traveling, she and I. We're gonna report back to you guys. We're gonna try to see if we can find some of the horror haunts of different countries. That might be a job, but it'll be fun. Also, I want to end up eventually talking about, again, like I said, my own writing history and skills and things I'm doing. I just finished writing and editing one story called Demon Slayer or The Priest Diaries. I'm not sure which I want to call it yet, but it is about a priest who also happens to be a 300-year-old demon slayer. Top that. In the course of, again, like I said, learning my craft, which is going to be this writing, which I'm going to be doing for a while now, it will be centered around Afrocentric people, black folk. Because, hey, you write what you know, right? And I know about the black experience. One of the things I kind of fell upon, and I knew about it, but I'd forgotten, was the black exploitation films. Anybody heard of those? I bet you have. Let me see if the Princess of Terror has heard about that. Princess. Yes. Have you ever heard about the black exploitation films? I have not. I am only 21. Okay, so she told her age. I didn't tell mine. All right, Princess, this is what it's about. Black exploitation films were films based on white movies, white folklore. For instance, you had Dracula. You heard of Dracula? Oh, yes. Well, there's a movie called Blackula. What? Got it, girl. There's a movie called Blackula. I never knew. There's also one called Blackenstein. No, that one threw me for a loop. What the? Blackenstein? What the? Yeah, girl. And that was hilarious. But of course, it was in the 70s. Most of the films in the 70s, black and white, are hilarious. But yes, we're going to talk about some black exploitation films because it carried on through the 70s and up until the mid 80s, I believe, which is, where I was shining, baby. Shining, I tell you. So that's one of the things I want to eventually do, as well as cover some things about the movies now. I mean, like Jordan Peele, everybody knows him. Get Out, Get Out. Get Out was messed up. And Antebellum, I just saw that. And that one got me to thinking, though, upon the beginning of it, I was mad. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that plantation garbage. But as it grew on and I watched it, because I tend to watch things as if I say I'm going to watch it, I'm going to watch it. If I say I'm going to read it, I'm going to read it. As the movie went on, it came into modern times. Okay, fine. Now I'm getting it. But towards the end, I'm like, is this really horror for everyone? Think about it. I almost want to call it cultural horror because as a black person watching that movie, I was like, oh, hell no. But now, would a non black person watch that movie and feel that fear? Something to think about. Anyway, that's kind of some of the things I want to do with this YouTube channel. I want to talk about my own writing. I do have a sequel to In the Footsteps of a Killer. It's called Through the Eyes of a Killer. Our same girl is now an adult. Our same killer. He's now didn't come back on his own, but he's devil resurrected with a contract to to take out with the devil. The devil's giving him a job and he's trying to do it. And she's trying to stop him again. And then I have in my mind an ideal for a third one, um, in the mind of a killer. And that's not going to be what you think it is. It's not going to be going into his mind and figuring out how he got that way, because you read about that along the way. But it's going to be about the daughter of the main female character, my lead, and her meeting someone And in his mind, he's a killer. But again, it's not what you think. So I got some things coming up for you, some ideas that are going to be happening. Um, Hopefully, I'm looking at my time. I'm at 15 minutes, which is actually pretty good. I usually do these 3, 4, 5 minutes, and I'm out. I want to take this to at least a half hour, but there's going to be more material coming along. Um, Maybe another platform. Fingers crossed. Keep yourself posted. Wait, where should I go? Fingers crossed. Yeah. So, with that being said, I'm gonna sign off for now. I will see you soon, sooner than you think, and sooner than you want to.